PeerPath, where multiple users can join multiple communities and match with each other based on their learning goals of that communities. Now, it might sound simple, but there is a lot of thing happening in the background side. So this is the landing page of our application, which we can of course explore, but let's just see how it does. So this is the dashboard section of the user. We can always sign in. I have already done it, and based on the past sections of the user we will see the community's learning goals and everything that is present over here. Now you can see over here there are communities which has the learning goal based on them. We can also have AI matching feature which matches the current user based on the similar learning goals of other users in the same communities. We can also join other communities as well, but how does Tambo fit over all this? This is the part of Copilot. Now, as you can see over here, we have multiple options like what do I do with more matches? Show my learning momentum this week. And what this will do is it will call the Tempo SDK in the backend side, which will in turn talk to our database and then render us the component based on the user's activity. So if I click on this and run it, it's going to call the AI SDK at the backend side. And if you see the architecture over here, that's how we are doing it. The Tambo Dev proxy will be called and its result will be returned to our application. Now it might take a little bit of time, but when it happens, it's gonna show us the generative UI component, which Tambo is great for. So as you can see, this is the match momentum snapshot of our application, which is the dashboard snapshot or the user's database snapshot. And you can see this is exactly the same. 5 pending request messages are waiting for your review, only 2 goals are tracked. So it is telling us the information, it is giving us what the user has done and is recommending something based on that. Now this is not the only thing we are using Embo in the application. As you can see, there is an option to chat. These are the pending chats which you can accept and then talk to, or you can have the chats which you have already accepted. So if we click on any of one, it's gonna take us to a new component. This component, this chat interface, the conversation is not where the Tempo is integrated, but this is where the Tempo is integrated. So let's say we are going to learn Tempo today. Although this will be much more interactive if we have another user on the other side, but let's just go with it. Now what we can do is we can see generate a study action checklist from this chat. So what this is going to do is again it's going to call the Tambo SDK from the backend side, and based on the context of the conversation which is happening between the two users, it is going to generate us checklist, the learning checklist based on the learning goals and the chat that is happening between the two users. So again, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it will show the generative UI page for us. So let's just wait a while. Okay, so this is the action checklist which the Tempo has generated for us based on the context of this chat. So define today's goal. What does explore generative AI mean for you? So this is exactly what is happening over here. So it's not hard coded or anything, it's actually taking the context. So we can do something like take it the checklist and we will be done with it. So this is where the Tempo is integrated as well. So we have two components, the chat interface and the dashboard, where the Tempo is providing with really great functionalities. And if you look at the architecture over here again, this is how we are calling the Tempo UI component, which is in turn calling the AI service units and talking to the, of course, the dev proxy of the Tempo using the OAuth and the clerk authentication. Now, if we look on the other architecture, this is the database architecture we have for the users, community members, learning goals, and everything. And yeah, this is about the application PeerPath, and that's it for this application.